tell me about anxiety.
What do you want to know about anxiety?
Whatever you want to tell me.
You already know everything. Anxiety sucks. Like even anxiety-related things. It's like, yeah, I have anxiety. My sister has anxiety. My dad has anxiety. But I'm not one to like push everyone else in the world to have a better understanding of anxiety. Like it's not like it's, I don't know, everyone else's. Like I guess it is because like it's a thing that affects a ton of people. But I'm just not opinionated enough to go out and like be angry at people because they don't understand my mental illness. Just I like to the people that are in my life maybe like give them a better understanding of it because they got to deal with me dealing with it. But everyone else, I don't know. I don't feel the need to be an activist for it and be an activist for mental illness. I'm trying to formulate something. I've had a little argument in my mind for a while of being gray in between something of like people not having sympathy, but then also on the other side of the spectrum, like people attributing things to an anxiety disorder when it's not really an anxiety disorder kind of thing. It's like two ends of the same spectrum. So it's like there seems to be like a lot of time when I'm struggling with some anxiety things. Like some people try and help by saying things like, oh, everyone has anxiety and stuff like that. And like, everyone has that and everyone stresses over this and everyone's anxious over this. And it's like, it's very true. Everyone does have anxiety to some degree. It's like a natural human emotion or feeling or state of mind, I guess. But people who have an anxiety disorder feel it either to a like way too exaggerated extent for something mundane or in situations where you really shouldn't be feeling it at all. Because we can only see our own perspective, sometimes we attribute a normal thing to anxiety or attribute, I don't know, like you have a bad day and you say, well, I'm depressed. You have natural nervousness for a test and you blame it on anxiety and blame, like I've blamed test failures and stuff like that on anxiety, and it's like sometimes it's warranted, I guess. Like if, hey dog, if my dog just walked almost into the frame, move. Sometimes it's warranted, like something else happened in life, like me and someone else got into some major fight or something like that, and it's rather than being able to just separate it from, okay, I need to focus on my test kind of thing, I literally can't separate it from focusing on my test, and all I think about is this fight and get anxious about this fight and then just sit there for 15 minutes of my test not writing any answers. That's an anxiety issue. But then I do bad on my test because I didn't study, and I don't want to accept the fact that I didn't study, so I try to pin the blame and say, oh, I was just anxious over this. And like a lot of the time I tend to I don't know, find other reasons, and it usually ends up pinning it on anxiety. And I struggle a lot with that because it's like sometimes I don't know whether it's actually something personality-wise or something action-wise that I'm doing wrong, or whether it's actually like my mental illness pushing me towards doing something else. And I feel like a lot of people have this kind of bias because they like we don't want to think we're bad people, so it's easier to blame it on something else like a mental illness kind of thing. So I don't know where I went really everywhere with this, but I guess my basic point, I don't know, actually. I had something in my head when I said this is my basic point, and then saying this is my basic point just got rid of it. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, I thought it was going somewhere.
Like, if you don't have anxiety, don't underestimate the problems it can cause for people who have anxiety. And if you do have anxiety, don't overestimate the problems it's causing in your life. Like, don't immediately think it's the root of every problem in your life kind of thing. So I guess I had 2 points. Is that good or is that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like what bothered me this morning was I opened up my Twitter and I was like immediately pissed because there's this guy who tweeted and he was like, "Oh, girls love being complimented, but like what they love more is like being told that they're prettier than other girls." And I was like, "That's the opposite of a compliment. Like that's not a compliment. Like I don't want to be pretty compared to like somebody else. Just call me pretty. Like that's fine. That's enough for me." Because when you say, "Oh, you're prettier than her," though, it like stops being a compliment and it starts being this weird competition that I didn't sign up for. Like, like I didn't realize we were doing this. I didn't realize I was supposed to be prettier than Bonnie. Like I wasn't going for that. Like we look completely different. Like I'm not interested in what you think about other women's appearances. And it just made me mad because I was like, girls don't like compliments that put them into like a box like that. Like girls like supporting each other. And frankly, girls don't care what you think about them. Like, people are so critical of you anyway. Like, they're critical of, like, what you wear and, like, the kind of makeup you wear and, like, the things that you do, like, whether you're slutty or, like, whether you're, like, a virgin. Like, all these, like, things, like, matter for some reason, and you can never win. Because, again, it's not a competition you signed up for. Like, you don't know the rules. And, like, they change according to, like, every man that you meet. And, like, I'm sick of it because no matter, like, who you talk to, like, you're losing in one respect. And, like, I'm not here for it. Like, I'd much rather spend my time, like, supporting other women in my life because I know how shitty it is and I know how hard it is. And it's, like, if we have to deal with, like, preconceptions from other people all the time anyway, like, why don't we just help each other? Like, I remember in 7th grade, I used to think I was so much better than all the girls who wore makeup. I was like, oh, I don't need makeup to look pretty. Like, oh. And that's, like, in 7th grade, and like I respect what I meant by that. Like what I meant by that was that I was comfortable in my own skin, but like it also kind of implied that like they weren't. But like wearing makeup doesn't mean you're not comfortable. Like it's just like something fun that you do for yourself. Like, and that's like something as a young girl that I had learned to like create this like system of like this like hierarchy where like I was better than them because I didn't have to wear mascara to school, and like that's not true at all. I love mascara. Mascara is great, and like it doesn't like say anything about you, which is why like I'm glad I went to Holy Name because that like all girl school environment, it like forced like all of like the cliquey kinds of girls versus like all of like the nerdy girls versus like the goth girls. Like it took like every single like stereotype and it forced us to be friends. Like Michelle Ferguson, like the popular girl, like I always thought like, oh, like she's a bitch. Like she's just like a blonde bimbo who wears lots of makeup and I hate her. But like Holy Name was so small that like you're sort of forced into close proximity with them. So like I was like forced to give Michelle Ferguson a chance, and then I realized she's a different type of girl than me, but like she's still like fun to talk to, and she's not a bimbo like just because she like rolls her skirt up a bit more than me. Like she's still like super smart and fun to talk to, and so is like Carly, even though she's kind of like a pothead, and so is Holly, even though she's like a ditz. And then you kind of realize that all of these stupid stereotypes like bimbo and ditz and pothead and whatever like don't actually matter. Cause like I don't actually care what girls do. Like I'm way more critical of men than I am of women because I think women have a lot to deal with anyway, and I feel like no matter what they do, they can't win. So like I'm like I'm not interested in what anybody else thinks. Like I don't give a fuck. I didn't wing my eyeliner for anybody today. Just like doing it. And like when people without me asking for their opinion tell me they like it better without, it's like implying that I'm self-conscious about something, and I'm not. It's just kind of fun, and I'm just being a boss ass independent ass bitch, and I like my eyes to be defined. Like it's fun for me. Like when you pick out a nice outfit, nobody's gonna go up to you and say, oh, why'd you wear that nice outfit today? You look just as nice in your pajamas. Like that's not what makeup is. Like it's not something you do for other people. And like even if you think, oh, I don't like how my eyebrows look, I'll shape them because I want other people to think they look nice. Like even then, like so what? Like good for you. You do you. We all do things to make ourselves feel better. The only difference is that when a guy dresses up nice, it's like, oh, what a handsome gentleman. And when a girl does her makeup, it's like, oh, what a self-conscious slut. Like it's a stupid standard. I'm sick of it. I'm tired. Like I've had enough. And like the amount of times I heard like, oh, why are girls wearing skirts today? Like nobody's trying to sleep with you. What are you doing? It's like never in my life have I put on a skirt thinking, God, I hope someone wants to fuck me. Like I just wear it because I want to. And like even if I did wear it for somebody else, like that's my prerogative. We all do things for other people sometimes. But like only girls are thrown under a bus for it. By men, incidentally. Because it's the same guys who like point out like a girl with like a short skirt and are like, oh, she's a slut. Like they're the same ones like 12 hours later at a club at like 1 a.m. like looking for a girl to bang. Like that's the same girl that you're like making fun of and then like looking to take advantage of. What else am I mad about? I'm mad about a few things. Can't think of anything. Oh, when I tell people I went to an all-girls school and they're like, oh, that must have been so shitty, like that must have been so catty and bratty, like I'd hate that, I'd never make my daughter do that. And I'm like, what fantasy world do you live in where every girl automatically hates other girls? Like that's not how it works. Like to go back to the beginning, when somebody tells me, oh, high school must have sucked for you, like you must have met so many catty people. All it tells me is you don't like girls. You don't like them because you assume that they're bratty and that's why you haven't had good experiences with them. If your first thought about women is, oh, they fight a lot with each other, you're not off to a great start with forming a strong female friendship with anybody. If your first thought about a girl is about like a group of girls is that they're like catty and gossipy, then like let me tell you, that stereotype rooted in your mind is like definitely the reason you have no strong female friendships to base that on. Because, like, you can't assume that about people. I'm so mad. Can you segue me?
How do I segue you?
Okay, just, let's say you start this video. How's it going to start with me just in the middle of my rant? It feels like orchestrated now. You should have just filmed me. It was so casual.
I was trying to, but, like, it didn't work out, because you started ranting, and I was like, crap, I didn't hit record yet, and then I didn't want to, like, start mid-sentence.
Well, I should hit record from the beginning. Everything I say is gold.
You look at the best of it, what are we? You know, we're the stuff of the stars. We're the ones that came from stardust. We're magical. We are. And I think that probably nobody should be allowed to speak unless they speak poetically. What you think? Oh no, sorry, shut up. That's not good enough. Good?
Yep.
Don't speak to me of deep waters or warn me of hidden dangers. Just watch me as I cast my heart out upon the world that could crush it like a bubble in the wind. Don't dampen my dreams with your cautions of a frail and imperfect world. I have set my course for open seas and have no fear of storms. Just be there when I cry. All I wish for you is a hero to replace this old and frail frame of mine. I think no ill of your gentleman, and only wish him to please your whole life. I do not wish him to be a public hero, just your own personal hero, as all men who find true love want and need to please the one they love. If you love too much and ask nothing, you get only what you ask. And if a man is never asked to please their loved one, chances are selfishness will fill the void. This is troubling times where selfishness is admired, but in all times, love, true unselfish love between unselfish lovers, is the only thing that counts, like the gift of the Magi.
Can we go in?
We should go in because, you know, there's money in those pockets.
Yeah. Okay. You okay?
Did I bring it up?
No.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.